What's good in the YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing another video. Today I'm bringing you a video on Power Morphicon 2018. Power Morphicon, for those who do not know, is the biggest Power Rangers convention that happens every 2 years. It features the most actors from the show, as well as other shows that are related in some way. Voice actors, Rangers, people that did work behind the scenes, directors, you name it, they're all there. It's super fun and exciting, and this one is the 6th one. So today I want to talk about more guests that were just announced. There are 13 guests announced, bringing our total number of guests up to 128. It originally would have been 129, but Kara Hoyt, the actress that played the original Demetria and also Divatox, had to cancel, so keep that in mind. So that's why it's one less guest than it would have been. So let's go through the tally list. For those who don't know, the tally list that I've made basically gives you an idea of how many guests there are per different categories. So take, for example, so one thing I want to say before that I always say every single time, is that certain guests are featured more than once in this. So if the numbers based on the categories don't equal up to 128, that's because they're one guest might be featured more than once. Take, for example, Jason David Frank. I always use him as an example because he was the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, White Ranger, Zeo Red, Turbo Red, and Black Dino Thunder Ranger. So because of that, I feature him in all the different places to give you an idea of how many actors there are. And keep in mind that I'm not just talking about Rangers in these different guest sections. So, you know, there might be voice actors as well included. So I just want to keep that in mind so everyone understands. So let's go through it. For starters, we have our Power Rangers creation involvement category, which is the one where it's people that were involved in creating the show in some way. There's 4 now. MMPR, we have 21 guests confirmed. Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers 4. Zeo 9, Turbo 14, In Space 10, Lost Galaxy 6, Lightspeed Rescue 6, Time Force 11, Wild Force 9, Ninja Storm 4, Dino Thunder 4, SPD 6, Mystic Force 2, Operation Overdrive 2, Jungle Fury 1, RPM 4, Samurai/Super Samurai 3, Megaforce/Super Megaforce 6, Dino Charge/Dino Supercharge 4, Ninja Steel/Super Ninja Steel 9, Power Rangers 2017 Movie 1, Hyperforce 2, Super Sentai 3, Fan Film 1, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight 1, VR Troopers 3, Big Bad Beetleborgs 1, Toy Designer 1, MMPR and Go-Go Power Rangers Comics Writers 3, Monster Designer for Godzilla and Ultraman 1, Godzilla Comic Artist 1, Japanese Monster Artist 1, and Puppetry, Poetry, Photography 1, YouTube 1. Keep in mind the YouTube one is one that was announced, but some people may argue otherwise. Just wanted to bring that up. They just were announced today. We'll get into that with the guest. So yes, that is the tally list. That is what we're going to start now with our first guest. Our first guest that was announced is someone that's really cool. He's shown up before. I definitely recognize him, and he's a really important person for the franchise, and that is Mark Richardson. Now, Mark Richardson, for those who do not know, was the prop master for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers through Power Rangers Wild Force. So he was the guy that was in charge of making sure that the props were made properly, whether it be the communicators, whether it be different devices they use to track different things, you name it. I mean, he made so many different props that the show needed that maybe weren't originally made from the Japanese show. Stuff like the tracking device from Turbo, or several other things were created that were original that he had to make for the show. So that's pretty cool. And I don't really know much about him other than the fact that he's made those props, but you know, it's someone that's definitely worth talking to, and maybe he'll have some stuff on hand, and maybe there'll be a panel where he'll be able to discuss some of that and how he came about making some of the props, and maybe he'll have some props on hand that maybe we'll be able to see, which will be really cool. Our next guest is a voice actor, and this voice actor was a voice actor for some villains, and that is Tom Weiner. Tom Weiner is best known for voicing Master Vile in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but he also voiced several voices of the Power Rangers franchise from Mighty Morphin all the way to Wild Force. Most notably, though, Master Vile is up there, but also there's one other that is on the image that I'm not remembering at this exact moment. I believe it's Furio, is that right? I believe Furio is the one that I'm thinking of from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So yeah, he's done some pretty cool voices. After that, we have our next guest, which is someone that's also pretty neat, and that is David Winning. David Winning, or Wining, I don't know how to pronounce it, is the person that directed a Power Rangers movie, so that's pretty cool to have him guest appearing for the convention. So you'll be able to talk to him about that. And again, a lot of Turbo actors are already confirmed for Power Rangers, from Power Rangers Turbo, to be showing up at the convention, and so they could actually have a pretty cool Turbo panel where they talk about the Turbo movie and have him there as well, and get to hear the Rangers' input, but also get to hear his input as a director. So that's pretty cool, and I'd love to see that if they end up doing it. Next, we got someone which is actually very exciting to see that he's showing up, and that is Chris Violetta. Chris Violetta played Sky, the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers SBD, so that's actually very, very cool. And that actually means that we have all 5 of the core Rangers. So we have red, blue, yellow, pink, and green, as well as the person who was the executive producer for the show. So that's actually pretty awesome, and I think this is like the first time they've had all 5 of them at one convention before, which is pretty amazing, because that means they can definitely do an SBD panel where it's dedicated to SBD, and SBD is super popular, so that's even better. So next we have our next guest, which is one for Power Rangers Samurai and Super Samurai. That is Naji D. Tej. Naji, for those who do not know, played Kevin in Power Ranger Samurai / Super Samurai, and he's our first Ranger from Power Ranger Samurai / Super Samurai, but technically if you include Bulk and Skull, then this is actually our third person from the season. But it is good to know that we have someone, because now with him we actually have one Ranger from every single season of Power Rangers confirmed to be showing up for this convention this year, which is awesome. Does not always happen, believe me. There are plenty of years where no one shows up for certain seasons, so it's awesome to know that for the 25th anniversary and for this convention in general, they're actually going to be able to get at least one actor per season, some cases more, obviously. So that's really exciting. Next we have someone that is actually pretty surprising, someone that I wasn't expecting, and in fact the one after him as well is pretty surprising. And let's start with the first one, which is Caleb Bendit, Bendit, I guess it is. Caleb played Monty on Power Rangers Ninja Steel, so it's actually pretty cool to see that he's showing up, and I'm actually glad to know that he is. I'm guessing he had to fly out on his own, because the main ones that Saban actually flies out typically are the current cast and the future cast. They don't typically fly out like the additional Rangers or any of the side characters from the current season, so they probably had to do it on their own, which is fine, but it is something to note. So it is cool to know that Caleb is showing up. Then we also have, to match with him, well, we have Caleb, we have to have Chris Reed, who played Victor in Power Rangers Ninja Steel. So Victor and Monty are confirmed to be showing up for Power Morphicon. Very cool. If you're going to have one, you have to have the other, of course. So it is great to know that. And when it comes time for the Power Rangers Ninja Steel panel, which they definitely will have, and that will lead to the official confirmation of the next season's cast, I'm sure that they'll be featured in the panel as well. So we'll get to hear from them as well. And I mean, even if they're not always given the best the best respect overall as characters, it's still going to be cool to see them, and I personally wouldn't mind meeting them if there's a chance to meet them. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if there's going to be much of an opportunity to take pictures or get anything signed by them, but it would be cool just to meet them. Even if they're not like my favorite characters, I still am in support of them, and I think that there are good things that they do even when they're silly characters. But yeah, so that's really cool to know that both of them are showing up from Power Rangers Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel. Next, we have someone from the Power Rangers movie that just came out last year, and that is R.J. Cyler. R.J. Cyler, for those who do not know, he played Billy the Blue Ranger in the Power Rangers movie that just came out last year. So it's very cool to know that he's showing up. He's only showing up Sunday, so keep that in mind. If you are interested in meeting him, taking a picture, getting anything signed by him, he's only going to be there that Sunday. Hopefully he'll be at a panel. That would be cool as well, but I don't know anything for a fact. I expected him, out of all the actors from the movie, to actually be the one Ranger that would show up to the convention, only because everyone else has been talked about like crazy regarding movies and all sorts of different things that are going on in their lives. I haven't heard anything really about R.J. Cyler. I mean, I'm sure he's been doing a lot of stuff, but as far as things go, everyone else is like getting so many crazy gigs or becoming really successful with what they're doing. I just don't hear much about R.J. Cyler, though. I mean, the biggest example, though, was the Pink Ranger, which I'm forgetting her name, Naomi Scott. Yeah. She is someone that has been getting a ton of attention, but as far as things go, R.J. Cyler, I haven't heard much about him at all. So it's very cool to know that he is showing up. I mean, either way, I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully in future years, we'll get more actors. Again, who knows? Maybe they'll announce someone else in the next week or so from the movie and maybe he's not the only one. But as of now, he is the only one that we know of so far. So I just want to make that clear. From what I can tell right now, he's likely going to be the only one, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, future years could lead to more actors from the movie. So next we have someone from VR Troopers, and that person is Aaron Pruner. Aaron Pruner played Percy in the show. He's only going to be showing up Saturday and Sunday, so keep that in mind. And sometimes I don't always look at that, but it is cool to note that, yeah, so he is only showing up those 2 days. So if you're there on Friday, you're not going to see him. But if you're a VR Troopers fan, he will be there. I'm not much of a fan, so I really don't know much about him. So anyway, next guest is Goni Montez, and Goni is known for being an artist for the Boom Studios Power Rangers comics, so that's pretty cool, and I'm glad to know that. We got another artist from the Boom Studios Power Rangers comics. Those comics are great, lots of fun, great stories overall, and he adds to our list. We have the main writers for Go-Go Power Rangers comics and also the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics, and we also have this writer as well, well, comic artist at least. So that's really cool to have an artist to go along with that. Moving on to our next guest, we have Hiroshi Kanatani. He is a Japanese monster artist. He's done a lot of monster commission art for Godzilla, Kamen Rider, all sorts of different Japanese big monster franchises as well. So that's really cool to know that he is showing up, and maybe he'll be showcasing some of his artwork and some other things as well to go along with it. So yeah, very cool to hear about that. We have another artist as well, and that is Matt Frank. I'll give you his description, which basically his little bio is best known for his rampage through the world of giant monster art. Matt Frank began working in the industry about halfway through college at the University of Texas in Austin. First working with Blue Water Productions, he provided covers for Ray Harryhausen Presents series, culminating with his first one-shot Wrath of the Titan Cyclops, which He co-wrote and illustrated both the cover and the interior pencils. He capped his graduation in 2008 with both a studio art degree and his first work with IDW, providing character illustrations for Transformers Beast Wars sourcebook. Frank then moved on to work on the over 200-page graphic novel The Still Heart with Gleaming Scythe Productions. He finally got his true big break working with his lifelong love, the Godzilla franchise, providing covers for Godzilla King of Monsters and Godzilla Gangsters and Goliaths in 2011, starting as a lead artist on the Store Stomping Issue 1 promotion. So that's pretty cool. Lastly, this is the YouTube one that I was talking about, and that is MMPRtoys. For those who don't know, MMPRtoys is a popular YouTube channel. The main reason why they tend to get a kind of guest confirmation is only because of the fact that they tend to do some sort of panel where Bruno from MMPRtoys, because there's Bruno and there's Mia, Bruno will typically talk about how he makes his displays and different things that he does in order to create his videos, because he does some pretty amazing stuff with toys for the Sentai, for Power Rangers, all sorts of stuff. So he's pretty cool as well, and he'll definitely be there. And if you're a fan of his channel, he'll definitely be roaming the convention. You'll have a chance to talk to him at some point. So that's very cool, and he'll have that whole thing recorded, so you might be seen in his videos if you go, which is cool. As far as things go otherwise, that's about it. Those are the guests that were announced today, and as far as things go, there should be some more guests announced before the convention. I guarantee it. It could be some even in the next day, you never know. There may be some additional items announced. We still haven't gotten the Henshin Vault coins shown off yet, so we have no idea what the Henshin Vault coins are going to look like. And as far as more guests go, I'm sure that there will be more, and there will also be a mystery guest. For those who don't know, the mystery guest is going to be someone that isn't expected at all, and people will be wondering who it is until the convention actually starts. Last year it was the actor that played I believe it was Mike Chatterbot, the actor that played Chad from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. And the main reason why he was such a big deal is because he doesn't really do many conventions, so it was really exciting to see him show up. Who knows who it will be this year? It would be cool if it were someone else that is pretty rare to see, like Amy Jo Johnson would be pretty exciting, or the actor that played Kai, which Archie Kao. Thank you, Archie Kao. Either of them would be really exciting to see. The main reason why Archie Kao as well would be exciting is because he doesn't do like any conventions, so the chance to actually meet him would be incredible. Again, no idea if that's happening. It could also be someone from the Power Rangers movie, and that would be really exciting. You never know. Or it could be someone completely different that maybe I'm not even thinking about. Patricia Jolie would be really cool, just because she doesn't do many conventions at all. In fact, she avoids social media completely, and she almost never does any conventions because she avoids social media entirely. That's a big thing, and that's been a thing for years, so just keep that in mind. People have wanted her forever. She played Cassie, the Pink Turbo Ranger during the later half of the season, and also the Pink Ranger in Power Rangers in Space. She does not do many conventions, so it would be incredible if she showed up, because they do have all the other in Space Rangers already confirmed, so they could have a real official anniversary panel for them as well, and that'd be really cool. Otherwise, that's about it for me. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'd love to know your guys' opinions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye, guys.